Guys, Mike here, head trader at True Trading Group. February 4th, a nice little lesson on position size. This video is going to be more about a mental lesson than it is a technical lesson. I'm not really going to cover any technical patterns or indicators or setups or anything like that. It's more mental and it has to do with position size, because a lot of traders think that they need to increase their position size in order to get bigger winners, and increasing position size is always, everyone's goal, and to trade with bigger size. And I'm making this video here to show you an example of why it's not always best to increase your position size. I trade with large size to begin with. Okay, out of all the members in True Trading Group, I trade with the most size, and it's all relative, because today, even though I trade with large size, I had too much size today. It's all relative. Whether you trade with $500 or 250 grand, you can still have too much size. It's all relative based on your comfort level. And I was long CRON today, right off my watch list this morning, right off my pre-market game plan. We talked about getting a continuation kind of short squeeze move on CRON up to my original target was 24. We ended up getting up to 25. And I got shaken out because I had too much size. And, sometimes having too much size is going to affect your decision making, and it affected mine today. My game plan was spot on with CRON. It was perfect. It was textbook. My execution was poor. And I can't help to think that, after the trade happened, I went back. I was trying to see, what did I do wrong? How could I have better traded? What can I learn from this? I still made money on the trade. I was still profitable on the trade, but very small compared to, the stock ended up going all the way to 25 bucks. I could have made a killing today, but I got shaken out. And I think it's because I had too much size and I was uncomfortable. Had I not had too much size, I think I gave the stock a little bit more room. And I think I'd probably stay in the trade longer and catch a bigger piece of the move. Let's get to the trade itself, and I'll talk you guys through kind of the thought process here. We shoot right through yesterday's high. Okay, we had the gap up today. We shoot right through yesterday's high. Huge volume off the bell. I mean, even stronger volume today. Even stronger volume here than we had on the previous day. We actually traded Kronos this day on Friday. I was long here on that pullback to VWAP, and I was selling and getting flat up into that initial surge in the morning. So I made a real nice chunk of change on CRON, and it was back on my watch list again today. After we broke through that level, you can see we were holding above the Friday's highs. After we broke through it with huge volume, and as I zoom this in, okay, guys, I got long right there at $22 even. Okay, here it is, long CRON, $22, stop loss $21.60. Okay, there's where I got long. I'm looking for the trade line to hold support. A trade line was coming up to line up with the previous day's high. Okay, I'm saying to myself, I'm looking for support to kick in there. Let's see, is there a Fibonacci level there? Yeah, it's also the 38.2 Fibonacci level. I wasn't even looking at that at the time that this occurred, but you can see now the trade line lined up with the 38.2 Fibonacci level and the previous day's high. Okay, and I got long right there. We pull in, we test this level briefly, and then you can see the trade line with this yellow line on my screen was kind of holding this, pushing this stock up. You can see big, strong tails get put in. Let me delete that Fibonacci so you can see the tail. Look at this tail off the opening bell. Then you see another strong tail there on a 3-minute chart, kind of showing a little bit of support there. Then you can see we kicked in here with support, and then we finally got a trade line view or crossover. I added to my position right there, and I added too much. I was already in a full tier 2 position size right here. And then usually when I add to a tier 3, which is just like kind of icing on the cake, when I really, really like the trade and all the stars are seeming to align, I'll add like an extra 25% of my position size on top. Well, this time I got a little trigger happy, and I fell in love with the trade, and I added a lot more than that. And it came back to bite me in the ass. So I was waiting for this trade line and VWAP crossover, and I got it. And I added to the position. I added more than I should have. We broke through the high of the day, okay, and right away I took some profit off the table right here at 22.30. Okay, back to my trade announcements. Here you can see took some profit, CRON 22.30. Okay, and then right here on this pullback is where I got shaken out. I'm so upset with myself for allowing myself to get shaken out on such an insignificant pullback when you really look at the grand scheme of how the stock traded. And I think I got shaken out because of this extra add, and I was uncomfortable in the position, and I didn't want to allow myself to go down below where I added because I added too much. And I didn't want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade, and I went ahead and I banged out of the rest of the position at 22.02. Okay, so I was initially got long at 22. I added again at 22, took some off at 22.30, and then banged out at 22.02. Kind of a piker move here, man. I'm really upset with myself for this, and it really comes down to my size, because had I not added this piece right here, I don't think I sell out of my position right here. I think I give the stock a little bit more room. Maybe I even give it back down to test this 21.75 area, or at least let it test VWAP, because you can see it held VWAP almost to the penny, and then we continued and made new highs. And as I pan this out, you can see CRON went all the way up to $25. Okay, I left a ton on the table on this trade. I made 30 cents a share when I could have made $3. I mean, just brutal execution on my part. And this is an example when having too much size will affect your trading. Increasing your position size is not always a good thing. Okay, people think that increasing position size is going to get you bigger winners. Wrong. Okay, it's going to definitely get you bigger losers. That much we know for sure. But it's also going to affect your decision making. If you increase your position size before you're ready to, and before you're comfortable with that type of size, it's going to affect your decision making. And you're going to allow yourself to get stopped out and get shaken out on little pullbacks when the trend is still clearly intact. Okay? And that is what happened to me today. I had too much size, and I allowed myself to get shaken out on that little pullback. And then I'm sitting there watching the stock run $3, doing exactly what I talked about in my pre-market game plan with all of our members in chat pre-market. From my watch list, it did exactly what we said. And I traded it poorly, and it's because I was uncomfortable with my size. If you guys ever find yourself in a trade and you're uncomfortable, the stock's not moving, but you are still uncomfortable, chances are you have too much size. If your heart is coming out of your chest, if you're sweating, your leg is shaking, you probably have too much size. I would suggest selling some of your position immediately, regardless of where the stock is, because it's going to affect your decision making. And that's what happened to me today. So I did a whole lesson about this after the close with our members in chat, kind of my end of day recap. This was the lesson. It's a mental lesson. It has to do with position size. And just make sure that you're ready to increase your size. And when you do increase your size, make sure that you're doing it incrementally. You're not just doubling your position size. Take it slowly so you build a comfort level so that your decision making is not affected. Okay, like I said, and the actual position size, it's all relative. What is small position size for me might be massive size for somebody else. It's all relative to your comfort level. Okay, and in this case, I trade with big size, but in this case, I had too much. I was uncomfortable, and it affected my decision making, and I paid for it. All right, and that's really it. That's the lesson of the day, guys. It's like I said, mental lesson here, not a physical one. And tomorrow's TGD Tuesday. Chat room is open, free for everyone. Go to TrueTradingGroup.com, upper right-hand corner, click on TGD Tuesday, register, and you'll get a link that will give you access to our chat room free only on Tuesday. Okay, so that's tomorrow. So hope to see a lot of you in chat tomorrow. Take care.